a window popping up over here. So I decided then on, like, I must go and visit all these places. So I was at work one day, sitting late, and there was an ad in the newspaper. The Times of India carried in news in 1979, that Ural Pass is now available for us Indians, and we can travel as long as we want by Ural all over Europe, no restrictions. It was like a monthly suburban pass sort of a thing. So I jumped onto that, and in 80, I made my first visit to Norway. Then again, that time I did a little bit of backpacking, and I was all alone. Second time I went was on my honeymoon. And the third time that I went to Norway was with my daughter. Now, in my previous 2 visits to Norway, I could see the fjords. I traveled on the trains, but I missed out on seeing the Northern Lights. Northern Lights were on my bucket list. Like, I must see the Northern Lights. When I was in school, my teacher had explained me about Northern Lights, and I would fantasize about them. And the first 2 times I completely missed out. I didn't schedule my itinerary according to the Northern Lights calendar. I never realized that there was a calendar for Northern Lights. So this time when I went, it was in 2016. I studied the whole thing. There were plenty of apps available, and I studied them for a year. And then finally, I could find out that there was a gap of 4 to 5 days in February where you could see the Northern Lights clearly. And the place to see the Northern Lights was Tromso, that was deep into the Arctic Circle. Hello?
Please carry on, we can hear you.
You can hear me, okay. So this time I was well equipped. February was biting cold out there, but just to see Northern Lights, we were well prepared, like me, my wife, and my daughter. So we went there. Now, can I start the slideshow now?
Yeah, sure. Why not? We can hear you very well. So,
now, how do I start it? Like,
you'll have to. I have permitted sharing of screens.
Okay.
So you
okay.
can.
Okay. You can see it, right?
No, not yet.
Viraf, click on that share content icon.
In the home screen
that comes, share what you want to share.
Where
there'll be an icon called share content.
Okay.
Click on that, and then you'll get your various screens that you can share.
Can you see now?
No, not yet.
I've shared. Like, there's a share icon.
Share screen, click on that.
Share
And then you'll
screen.
get,
It's on the right hand top, right? Share screen.
yeah, I'm on
No,
an
it is
iPad,
at the
so I can't tell
bottom.
you.
Bottom line of your screen.
Center bottom.
Participants chat share screen. At the
Oh,
bottom of your screen.
I'm already into the slideshow. Should I go into home?
No,
Now,
no.
click on the what you want to share.
After sharing screen, click on the slide you want to put on the
Uh,
display.
I think something is going wrong somewhere. Should I go into PowerPoint once again?
Yeah, you go back, share screen, then go to the PowerPoint, then click on PowerPoint.
The share screen should be a green arrow at the bottom.
I know, but I can't find it now.
Yeah, you have to go back
Uh,
because you have already shared. Then click
Okay.
on the thing you want to share.
How come I'm not getting that?
So when you click on share screen, what do you get?
My share screen comes up on the right hand top.
Okay.
And when I click it, it says to collaborate with others, please save a copy of your file to an online location and change the profile. Save to cloud. That's what it says.
This is not sharing in that sense. This is just sharing screen. Alternately, you keep talking and you kindly email the presentation to me. I'll try and share it. That's another possibility.
Thing is, I am not at all a computer savvy person. And I did a trial run, but I'm just wondering.
Your daughter is not at home.
Your daughter
No,
was around,
now I got it. Now I got it. Wait.
Okay.
Share.
Call the children in case of computer difficulty.
Share.
So now we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
see.
Yeah,
We got
Now you
it.
can see.
Got it. Got it. Very nice.
Got it. Oh,
congratulations.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So like after studying the charts, the calendar for the Northern Lights, we decided upon February 2016. We booked a flight and we went to Oslo. Now, this is the map of Norway. Oslo is over here. This is the Arctic Circle. And Tromso is somewhere over here, deep into the Arctic Circle. So we flew there. But before that, we had to change the flight at Oslo. Now, something strange happened over there. We changed the aircraft and our aircraft started taxiing when it was taken into a parking bay, and suddenly this huge crane-like thing, it came up and it started spraying some sort of a chemical on our wings. In fact, the whole body was covered. And then there was this person over here who kept on inspecting the wings. When we asked the aerostess what is happening, so she says they are de-icing the plane because we are going deep into the Arctic Circle. It has to be de-iced. So after de-icing, we took off. And this is what we saw from the aircraft. Like it's Arctic Circle with these are the fjord, and a part of fjord is ice-bound. It's being frozen. This is another view. And finally, we landed at Tromso. Tromso is the largest city of Norway in the Arctic Circle. It has got a population of 70,000, and it spans both the sides of this Tromso Sound. This water body is the Tromso Sound. It is 1,036 meters long, and it is 80 meters tall. It has got enough passage to allow the huge cruise ship to sail underneath. This is another landmark, the Tromso Cathedral. The Tromso Cathedral. It's a beautiful piece of work. It is also known as the Arctic capital, and they regularly have concerts over there. And under the northern lights, it is very beautiful and it's very magical. And so is the case of the under the midnight sun, because the sun never sets for 6 months over there. Tromso is also the gateway to most of the Arctic expeditions. So you get quite a few Arctic expedition museums as well as aquariums. This is one of the aquariums that I saw. Now, we spent 2 days, and every day we used to go to the tourist bureau to inquire about the Northern Lights. Like, we couldn't see the Northern Lights, and they wouldn't issue the tickets till they get a confirm from the observatory that it can be seen today. So finally, one day, the last day, we got to see the Northern Lights. Now, whilst walking down the streets of Tromso, we came across a small kiosk. And you know what this was? This was the world's smallest instant portrait studio. It was very cute. So I clicked the picture of that. Now, Tromso is also the capital and informal capital of Norway. And over here, the Sami people, they were having the cultural show, and the reindeers were being readied for a race down the Tromso streets. So we managed to see that too. Now this is the Aurora Borealis. Aurora is the Roman goddess of dawn. Now it is seen, it is also known as the Northern Lights, and it is in the north, it is known as Aurora Borealis, whilst in the south, it is known as the Aurora Australis. It is only seen during the clear skies, when the skies are clear. And this happens when the solar wind carries the charged particles expelled from the sun, and they are pulled by our Earth's magnetic field. So you can see them only at poles. This is another view of what we saw. Now, Northern Lights cannot be clicked by a normal camera, definitely not by a mobile camera. You have to use an astronomical camera for that, which our guide had, and he clicked all these pictures. It was so bright that you can see the mountain range, the snow-clad mountain range in the background. It was bright. Now, there was this, I wonder what that was, a meteorite or a plane landing, but this doesn't look like a plane. And we were in the middle of the night that time. So like, I presume that it was a meteorite which has come into the picture. and we were near the mouth of the fjord, and it was freezing cold, absolutely freezing cold. From Tromso, we had to come down south. Now we wanted to take a train. The nearest train station was Narvik. Now Narvik, though being in Norway, is not connected with the mainline Norwegian network. It connects to Sweden. It brings in the heavy ore traffic from Sweden to Narvik port, which always remains clear because of the Gulf Stream. So the next stop would be Bordeaux. Bordeaux is again in the Arctic Circle, and this is the Bordeaux station. Coming down to Bordeaux, we had to take a Hurtigruten ferry via Lofoten Islands. Those islands are a must, beautiful, very dramatic, very dramatic. Now this picture was taken from my youth hostel room, and it overlooked the platform. So when I woke up, I saw this express which has just pulled in, and it had a funny container sort of a wagon, but actually it was not a container wagon, it's the generator car. It generates the heating for the train. So that's it. Now Bordeaux station, that is, the behind is the
If you permit me to interrupt, Viraf, Mr. Anand has asked what was the temperature in this area?
It was somewhere round about, say, minus 14, if I'm not mistaken. It was feeling very cold because it was very windy.
Okay. Anyway, thanks.
Sorry?
Please
No, I
carry
said
on.
thanks.
Okay, okay. You can see how cool it was because everything is under the snow. Now, this is the Bombardier rake at Bordeaux station. It's a DMU, and it's used for shuttle services. This is the Bordeaux station taken from the platform end. Now, my room was somewhere over here, just behind the first bogie. It's somewhere over here. So I was having a panorama view of the station, but nothing much of a traffic out there. Hardly few expresses and very few local services. There were freight movements though. This is a profile of the locomotive. Sorry, I'm not a technical person, so I won't be able to give you a technical talk about all these locomotives. Now, this was taken at Tromso. Now, you can see this logo over here. Pets are always allowed in Norwegian trains. You can take your pets along with you, but they should not be seated on the seats. They can be seated in the corridor. You can sit with them in the corridor, or they can be at your feet. Now, the rule is, if your pet is more than 40 centimeters high at their shoulders, then you have to pay 50%. That's fair enough for a dog lover like me. These are the two shunters. They are quite similar to the German shunters at the Tromso. They are waiting for the turn of duty, and that's the fjord at the Tromso station. This is the Gothic Cathedral at Tromso. It is worth seeing. That's why I have kept it over here. Now going south, we wanted to take a train to Bergen, but there was lots of hassle, like we had to go all the way down to Oslo and then again change trains going to Bergen. And it was a little bit confusing as well as time consuming. And so we had to take a flight from Tromso to Bergen. Now, if you want to see Norway in a very quick manner or in a day and experience everything about Norway, then you should take Norway in a Nutshell Pass. It's available everywhere on the Norwegian Railways. So what it shows is it'll take you on the ride on the scenic Bergen Railway as well as on the Flam Railway and on the fjord from Gudvangen to Flam over here, and the railway from Flam to Myrtle. The Flam Valley Railway is one of the most scenic railways in the world. Now don't compare the scenery with Switzerland. Switzerland has got a very different scenery. Norway has got a very different scenery. Norway scenery, why it fascinates me, it's very dramatic. It's like sheer cliffs rising straight, suddenly rising straight from the seas, and with the waterfalls, and there will be small pockets of farmland. It's really very beautiful, very different about the scenery, a European scenery, I would say. So we got that Norway in the Nutshell ticket, and we took a train early in the morning from Oslo. So this is the morning train which has come down from, sorry, not from Oslo, from Bergen. This train has just arrived from Oslo, and my train is over here on your right, waiting to take me to Myrtle. This is a typical wayside station halt. It's out of nowhere, like you see a couple of cottages, houses, and a station. Now this is my train at Flam Station. Flam is where you get down to go to Gudvangen by road to catch a ferry. This is a very beautiful station. In fact, on my honeymoon, I had stayed in Voss rather than in Bergen because Bergen was pretty expensive. This is another view of Flam Station, and that's the lake behind. And the lake freezes out during the winter, and you have got the winter games played there. The youth hostel is just behind this, a little walk, but behind this station building. It's lovely. Another view of Frost building. Now this is Gudvangen. It's on the fjord. And from there, we took a boat, a ferry, which also carries car to go to Flam. This is what I meant, like straight mountains jutting out from the fjords. This is Flam Harbor. This was our ferry from Gudvangen, which had brought us over here. And if you see, this is the Flam Station. You can see the locomotive standing there. It's so near to the harbor. This is the visitors center. All the visitors have to go in first, This is the view of Flam taken from the hilltop. Of course, it's not my picture. That's the docking area, and the station is somewhere over here. A very beautiful place, a very beautiful place. This is another view. This is the train station. This is the docks. These are the docks. And this is the railway museum, the Flam Railway Museum over here. This was clicked by my friend who happened to be at the Flam Railway Museum last Monday. So I requested him to click some pictures so that I can add it to my presentation. So this was when the Flam Station was being built. This is the fjord. The fjord is Sogne, it's a branch of Sogne Fjord, which happens to be one of the deepest fjords in the world. It's not the deepest, it is one of the deepest. Now these pictures shows the construction workers and the farm station and the village of those days. It's I think 1935 picture. It would hard to believe, like today the whole place is crowded with cruise ships. They were building tunnels and there were no machines, like they had to dig out the tunnels by their hand. This is the church at Flam, and there is a steam train going behind it. Now, when we landed there, there was some sort of a celebrations going on. This is a VIP person. I don't know who that gentleman was. He was giving some lecture in the Norwegian language, and people had gathered down and they were listening to his lecture. Now, after the lecture got over, we were ushered into the visitor center, and they had provided us with some cakes and hot coffee, which was required. Flam Railway connects Bergen Railway at Mriddle. This is the most, am I too fast with the slideshow? This is the most recent locomotive of the Norwegian Railways used in Flam. And the trains are push-pull trains. There are two locomotives, one over here and another one at the back. So there is no reversing taking place. Like it goes to Mriddle, and after some time it immediately reverses back. So they need not change locos. Very handsome looking locomotives. This is the previous generation locomotive. And then this is more previous to it. Class E1, EI11 locomotives, class 11 locomotives. This is the Flam Museum with the train standing in the background. Now, Flam Railway was built by the Norwegians. It's a mistake and misunderstanding that the Germans built the railways. Actually, the Germans, during the war, when they occupied Norway, they helped them with the electrification. Should I proceed? Now,
Please proceed.
sorry.
Please carry on.
Yeah. Okay. Now, between the two wars, there was this engine shed at Middle. It got burned off. And this was a damage done. This is a snow plow which got damaged. And then there was this telegram which was sent to the authorities by the station master at Middle. And this is what it says. This is the first generation electric locomotive which was used on the Flam Harbor. This is now in the Railway Museum. Previously, it was splintered outside the station. This is inside of the Class 19 locomotive, how it looked like. Now, these are inspection trolleys and vehicles, I should say, used to inspect the Flam line. Again, in the museum, the platform with the train waiting. And here in this showcase is the diagram of the Flam Station. Inspection vehicles or trolleys. I think this is some sort of a press which they used. One of the coaches of Flam Railway has this slogan, one of the world's most beautiful rail journeys. It takes about an hour to cover the distance of 20 kilometers. The maximum gradient is 1:18, or it is 5.5%. It is the steepest standard gauge line in Europe. The maximum permissible speed is 40 kilometers upward and 30 kilometers downwards. I read it somewhere that they have 5 different type of braking powers to halt the train in case of an emergency. There's the station again. On the right is the museum, and this is the ferry. Now, this is on our way up. Our train was taken on a loop line to allow the downcoming train to pass by. It was getting darker, and besides that, the train had tinted windows, so it has got a bluish tint. Now, the trains also had a audio-visual system inside where they kept on showing what's going on outside, but nobody was paying attention to the movie inside. Everybody had their necks straining outside. And since we were on the last train up the hill, it was comparatively very empty. So we had a nice time running from one side of the train to other side of the train to see the best of the views. Now, this is Kosfossen waterfalls. It's completely frozen, but I have experienced this falls during summer, and the spray is so big that it comes inside the train. Now they have added a special feature over here. Of course, it's only during the summer when an actress comes and performs a dance and sings in a red dress. She is known as Huldra, and it's a legendary seductive forest creature. Initially there was a power plant over here, which is German setup, but the Norwegian resistance blew it up. This was a wayside station. Now this is Myrdal, the end of the line at 866.8 meters. My hands are very shaky because it was very cold. Apart from that, there was ice on the platform on which I kept on slipping. Now this is the Snowshed at Myrdal Station. This is the main line from Oslo going towards Bergen, and this line goes down to Flam. Now these are the permanent snow sheds where the trains would not be obstructed by the falling snow. So sometimes it can be very irritating to the passengers because it blocks the view. There is a small engine shed over here. It's available through the snow shed. I wanted to click some more pictures, but it was freezing, absolutely freezing. It was so windy, and you can see my hands are not steady. Now this is Myrdal Station again, but it is during the summer, not my picture. This is the line coming up from Flam. There is this snow shed over here. That's the Oslo-Bergen main line, and this is the transfer platform. So the Flam Railway would halt over here, and the main Norwegian Railway, State Railways train would halt over here to pick up the passengers. It is not a major halt, most of the expresses don't halt over here because there are hardly any passengers. Because most of the cruise line passengers, they just come up and return via the same train down. So there is hardly interchange of passengers over here. If you want to walk down, this is the path. You can even bicycle it down. People do that. They trek up and down. I believe in summer, it must be very beautiful. Now this is the same station middle, but during the steam days. This is from a picture postcard I picked up from the Railway Museum at Flam. Now on our return to Oslo, I booked the seats in a wrong compartment. When I was booking the seats, when I said 3 seats, I was told, is that a family traveling together? And I said, yes.
तो कहाँ पर आपको ये सलून कहाँ पर आपका?
Sorry?
आशियाना पे. So you are dealing with mail also? मैं तो गंज से बोल रहा हूँ, हजरतगंज से. तो it's for मैं हजरतगंज से बोल रहा हूँ. So this is for males also or only for females? Unisex. I was looking for some waxing services. Do you?
No, I'm not getting what you want to say.
No, please
Actually,
carry
this
on.
is
That
a-
was some interruption.
There's some interruption and a outsider. He's not connected with this and he has somehow.
Okay,
Come to
okay, okay. So now, so as I was saying, I wrongly booked a train on my express from Bergen to Oslo, the mainline express, but it was a very beautiful mistake because we were allotted a family apartment. I mean, sorry, a family cabin. So this is how it looked like. Now, they have this place, huge sitting space, leg space, and where you can even take your baby strollers along with you. And then there is this play area for the kids where you have got slides, blocks over here, and then there are trapeze, there are swings inside, and it's completely enclosed so that, and it's cushioned too, so that the children won't injure themselves. And there is constantly an attendant attending on the kids inside. Apart from that, there is a video too going on showing cartoons. So just see the spacing. This is the general dibba, or you can say the compartment, and this is the family seat. It was divided into 2. Now we came back to Oslo, and this is what my view from my hotel room. Whenever I travel abroad or in India, I see to it that I book a room or a hotel that has a view of the railway line, some sort of a railway line. So here it is. And this is the Airport Express arriving into Oslo station. At the Oslo station, this is Fly to Get, a high-speed airport service. It connects Oslo's Gardermoen Airport with the central station. It is just 64 kilometers line, and it's the only high-speed line in Norway. These Class 71 EMUs were built in Norway by Edtrans. And like our EMUs over here, at least in Bombay, they are the set of 3 cars which can be coupled up to 3 sets. The maximum speed is 210 kilometers. It's very expensive, so I opted out for the normal services. As it is, I'm not very fond of high-speed trains. I would rather prefer a passenger train so that I can experience the real journey. This is another EMU at Oslo Station. And this is the normal EMU, which shuttles between Oslo to the Gardermoen airport. You pay almost double using the high-speed line. Now, this is the old Oslo station. Twice that I've been to Oslo before, this was the place when my trains would terminate. But now they have got a big 19 platforms terminal, which caters to the international services also. So this concourse was converted into a food mall and a shopping mall, food court and a shopping mall. And they have done it up very beautifully, very beautifully. Now, this is a flower stall in Oslo Station. Now, this is the tiger of Oslo, it's called. And it symbolizes the spirit of the people, citizens of Oslo. Oslo is known as a tiger city to the Norwegian. This is the heart of Oslo city. It's so clean and tidy, and it feels like a small so what you say, a small town sort of a thing, feeling. Now, if you see this white thing, it's an ice sculpture. They've made a castle. It's an ice sculpture out there. And this is a very beautiful Oslo Cathedral. There were so many cathedrals that I keep on mixing them up. People, you hardly find cars over there because Oslo has got such a beautiful metro system as well as the public bus as well as the tram cars. So it's very convenient to travel in them rather than driving it down. This obelisk is in the world's famous Frogner Park, where there are different statues, sculptures, I should say, made by Mr. Frogner himself, and it shows the life cycle of a human. Now, before I flew down to home, Bombay, my trip wouldn't have been complete if I wouldn't have bought a model of a Norwegian locomotive. This happens to be a Nohab locomotive, one of my favorite diesel locomotive. Though I'm a steam fan, this is one of my diesel locomotive. The another one, which is since CFCC 72, is my favorite. So I bought this from a shop in Oslo, and then I bought 2 more coaches to go along with it. This from the Flames line. I bought it from the Flam Railway Museum, and the normal Norwegian coach. This is the thing. So friends, this brings to an end of my slideshow.
Thank you very much, Viraf. There is one question which has been asked, which is why is Oslo called the Tiger City? Tigers were never found in Norway.
Yeah, but as I said, like they have got a spirit of the tiger. So that is why it is known as the Tiger City. The Norwegians are very enthusiast about their environment and their political surroundings and things like that. So it is known as they are ready to fight. Like, so that is why it's known as the Tiger City. And it's not the term which has been recently coined. It's from the medieval times that it's known as the Tiger City.
Anyway, thank you very much for the presentation, Viraf. We have a number of comments. One of them is beautiful presentation. Another one is thanks, Viraf. I really enjoyed the trip. The last one comes from Warren Miller, who's in Australia.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm tempted to make a trip to Norway as early as possible.
Oh, please do. It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful place to visit. If anybody gives me a chance to select between Switzerland and Norway, I would say Norway. I liked it that much. And the further you go into the Arctic Circle, the more beautiful it gets, especially the Lofoten Islands. Unfortunately, we stayed there for 2 nights, and that was not sufficient. We had a time crunch. We had to come back to Bombay. So that's it.
I also feel that the Swiss type of landscapes you might be able to see in India if you go to the Himalayas, but the Norwegian type landscapes you will never see in India.
Yeah, true. Because the fjords, what are fjords? Fjords are the seas. They are the inland seas, and which has been carved out through all these ages, at the glacial movements, I should say. And that you'll find out that you'll get them only in the Arctic and the Antarctic circles. One of the best fjords, you can find them in New Zealand also. But Norway is, the childhood memory, it stays with you always. Like the book which my daddy gave me, and when I came down to Scandinavian section, I said, I must go and visit this place. Right. By the way, the ferry crossings are all over, at least in the Baltic seas. The only ferry crossing, if I'm correct, is in Italy, between Sicily and Italy, which I have done. And in my previous visits to Norway, I have done the ferry crossings over there too. Now they have built bridges and tunnels. So I'm very glad and I'm happy that you liked it.
In fact, your mention of ferry crossings, the Indian Railways also had a very large number of ferry crossings at various places where we have bridges now. Two I can think of offhand is at Guwahati and at Farakka.
And they used to have it in some places on the Ganges too.
Yeah, that's right. Farakka was on the Ganges.
Okay. Mr. Singh, I recollect during my school days, we used to get this Free Press Journal, and the newspapers used to often carry a picture, an advertisement of a bridge sort of a thing or a dam sort of a thing. It had circular holes below, and there was a WP Hall train crossing the bridge. And I can't recollect what it was all about, but I still have that picture in my mind. Do you have
I
any
don't
idea?
recall this at all.
Was it
That
the
must
front-
be some kind of a
In fact-
masonry
in fact,
structure demolished long back. So I don't think we will have that available now. But if you share a picture, we can find out where it
No,
was.
the picture now is in my mind.
Online.
And it was
Yeah.
a very low-lying bridge. It was a
Yeah,
very
such-
low-lying bridge.
All such bridges have been, done away with because of the safety and speed problems. Because they had speed restrictions all over, and plus they were very old machinery the structures. So they have all been done away with. Most
Ha-ha.
important ones. WP was running in a steam days, means it must be an important passenger railway bridge.
Yeah, it was.
And maybe it was in Bombay area only. Because
No,
Bombay had
no,
lot of-
definitely not. Definitely not, because Bombay area doesn't have that kind of low-lying bridges. And it was something like,
No, between Bombay and Pune, you had lot of places where there are huge structures. I don't know. At old times, they may have had masonry structures there, but I don't know.
no. I used to travel quite often on Bombay-Pune line, and no, this was entirely a different structure, a very low-lying bridge, and it had a circular.
Those holes are actually the weeping holes on a structure to allow the water to get out.
Yeah,
And it's nothing more than that.
or was it a dam sort of a thing? I really can't make out now, but the picture is in my mind.
Viraf, Apurva Bahadur here.
Hi,
Apurva.
Apu.
Yeah. I hope you're not mistaking the picture of a steam train on top of Dara Pass.
No,
That you know.
no,
very well.
definitely not.
Okay.
Dara Pass, I have walked all through the Dara Pass with my great friend, Mr. John Lacey.
Yes, of course.
He is
passed
no more.
Yes.
Yeah, so I've walked all the way through Dara Pass.
Okay. So you know the structure very well. Okay.
Viraf,
Yeah,
what you might have seen is what is called a causeway or an Irish bridge. That is those circular holes, and it's a causeway. And of course, when the river overflows, then the trains can't run. We had several such bridges on the meter gauge section of Southern Railway.
Yeah,
uh-huh.
There were some Irish bridges in Bhavnagar division also.
but this is all meter gauge, right? This is all meter gauge.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
this
broad
was a WP Hall.
WP loco.
Okay.
Have been broad gauge also.
It was a broad gauge. It was a broad gauge logo.
Okay, Viraf, there was a question earlier which I think remained unanswered. Is why do you have diesels when you have so much of electricity? I love it. I mean, it's very nice that you have diesels, but tell me why.
I
Yes,
really
sir.
don't know. Might be because it snows so heavily, so the catenary might get damaged or something to that.
I think it must have
In
been.
fact, I really don't know. Like even I was surprised. Previously, from steam to when they were doing away from steam, they got in this NOHAB models.
Yes.
I mean, the locos.
Yes.
But when they entered into the electrification, I really don't know why this particular section, the northern section of the Norwegian Railways is unelectrified. Something surprising that the section which connects to Sweden, which is much higher above, that's the Narvik Stockholm line, and that is electrified. But this portion from Trondheim to Bordeaux is not electrified.
I think it's a branch line which has got hardly any traffic, and so
Exactly. I was going to say that.
Hardly any traffic means the passenger traffic. but they do have freight traffic. They have got huge containers coming in.
What
There
do
could
they
be,
carry?
you
What do
have
the freight carry?
answered. I think because of very low temperatures, it is difficult to maintain such contraction and expansion. Plus, there will be deposits of icicles on the wires during the night time, and this can create a problem in running of electric trains.
No, but the rest of the country is electrified and they also have
Yeah,
snow,
and-
and whole
and,
Sweden has
But
got snow.
it is running on the northern side, northern on the
Yeah,
Arctic
yeah.
Circle.
But see, if you see the map, Bordeaux is over here. I'll highlight it. Bordeaux is over here and Narvik is over here. So this Narvik line, which goes into Sweden, is completely electrified. The portion between this portion only is unelectrified. It's not
Do they
There
carry
must be lack
ore?
of traffic.
No, it must be loading of ore into the open gondolas. That's why you can't have OHE.
No,
Yeah, could
open
be.
no. Apurva, this is quite contradictory because this is Narvik port handles all the old traffic from Sweden,
Yes,
and it is being transported into open gondolas.
right.
Whilst this line is fully container traffic.
Okay. So
In fact, the other day I was seeing a video on YouTube, and all the freight trains going on this particular section were all containers.
It must be low traffic. Probably electrification was
Yeah,
not justified.
definitely. It's a single line, low traffic, and almost all the lines in Norway are single line. There is hardly any traffic.
Viraf, I just wanted to ask, I noticed you've been staying in youth hostels.
Yeah.
Now, in Norway, what are the sort of regulations regarding youth hostels? Any limitation of age? Do you get rooms? Are they sort of common toilet facilities? What are these?
Viraf is young only. He's very young.
Thank you. Flattered. The thing is like there are different categories of youth hostels. Since I was staying, I was with my family, I got a family room with an attached bath and toilet. But on my honeymoon, I visited Foss. And I was staying in the youth hostels out there. And when we said we are on our honeymoon and all, so you won't believe these people, they gave us the full dormitory to ourselves, nobody else. And there were, I think, 16 beds, and we were just two of us.
16 single beds. Sorry.
No, 16, 16.
Yeah, 16 single beds. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, and age is no limitation, absolutely no limitation.
And you became a member of youth hostels in India?
On my previous trips, yes, I was a member, but in this particular trips, no. In fact, I found the pensions were on par with youth hostels. Why I choose youth hostel in Bordeaux was I knew that it was just above the railway station. So that is why I choose youth hostel at Bordeaux.
When I was younger, in my mid-30s, I also used a large number of youth hostels in Europe. It's a very convenient arrangement. Only at that time, you have to get out of the youth hostel at 9 o'clock and you can only come back after 5 o'clock.
Yes.
That's a regulation.
Time limit is there. But since we were not in the tourist season, they said like you can leave at what time you want, like there is no one coming over here. But still, to be honest and all, like we left at the time mentioned, and we left our luggage in their luggage room. That was allowed.
Yeah, that's a very good way of traveling. It's very economical.
Yes. But now the pensions, they are on the par with youth hostels, means the fare wise. And I would prefer staying with families because you come to know about the culture and the environment of that particular town or a city. Wherever we have traveled in Europe, like we have always stayed in pensions, and we keep on comparing prices with youth hostels, and we said, no, this is better. Like, let's stay with them.
Viraf, what's next? Where are you going next?
Now that I've become a grandfather, there is a comma. But
Yeah.
my sister keeps on calling me to Vancouver, and I would like to do that portion. Like, I've never been to US.
Yeah.
I mean, Canada, North America.
Yeah.
Right. So I would like to do that. In fact, I had my dream like traveling from Toronto to Vancouver by train, but I believe it's horribly expensive.
तो बिली मोरा वगई चल मेरे साथ.
Kiddhar?
बिली मोरा वगई में अभी
Chalna. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
Chalo.
Let's plan a trip after this thing pandemic subsides.
Sure.
Like I'm game to it. But we
Okay.
have to do it on a Sunday because I believe that observation coach is only on Sunday.
Okay. Right.
Anyway, we can have a talk on that trip sometime after a month or so.
I have done a very unique trip in Greece. It's a narrow gauge line. I can't pronounce it properly. Dikofto, something like that. Going up into the mountains, again from the sea level into the mountains. It's a narrow gauge line, and unfortunately I don't have much pictures of it. I've not clicked, but I've clicked the whole movie, so like it's not possible for me to show you the whole movie on a Zoom.
Right, then I think any other questions, comments from any of our participants?
Before we end the session, I would like to thank Apurva because he has helped me out in this presentation, as well as to my daughter. Like she was in Goa and she really helped me out with the presentation over here. Like, so.
Most welcome. Let's do a presentation on your Indian Railway stuff. That's what we are.
Indian Railway stuff, the sub Indian Railways wale to hai. Like, so I thought like,
but
let me.
You've got pretty unique content. You've got a lot of unique content which nobody has. So let's get that done. Let's do Wakaner Morbi. You've got such good pictures.
Yeah, we have done that, na?
We have done that. But you've got the best pictures. Yeah. So let's put that up. Let's share it to these people. Let's get that done.
I think I should share this. I think, do I have, I must have sent you the pictures, no?
Yeah, but if you have the negative, let's rescan them with the new scanner, which can do the job once again.
Or
and,
can I not scan them and send it to you?
Sure, do that.
Because pictures I've got, searching for the negatives will be a problem.
All right.
When did you visit Wakaner and Morbi?
2000, right?
That was before 2000.
Before 2000. 1999 or 1998?
That is before the earthquake.
Slightly after the earthquake. People were still, they were talking about the fact that there was an earthquake, and we had an amazing time, absolutely amazing time. And
I was posted there in 1972.
Okay, right. Yeah.
That was well before the earthquake.
Yes.
Or no, well before the floods you had. You had some floods also there.
The floods came in around 1976, 77, something like that. No.
So not the earthquake. We had at that time we had a Wawajodu, which is tornado. Yeah, hurricane. Yeah, hurricane. They were worried about that. They said it flattened everything, and I think the earthquake came later.
That was the bursting of a dam called the Machu Dam.
The dam had burst.
No,
But the dam burst caused, it was very close to
Apurva,
Morbi.
You remember that
That
driver was
damaged
saying कि
the-
वावाजोड़ू आया था और सब लोग इधर, you know, the whole thing got disturbed, and the salt guys said that we lost a lot of salt because of the वावाजोड़ू, because there was such bad wind, and they were afraid. You could see that they were afraid. We are not afraid of the big winds, na. Mumbai में आता है यार बड़ा बारिश, nothing. We don't care about that. But they were, you know, for people in that area, a big wind was something which scared them.
and
No.
they had never experienced it.
They had never
before.
seen such big wind. It's flat land. There's nothing there. So, but we had a great time. And my eternal regret is that the driver was offering his mutton curry, which was cooked on the steam loco furnace on his shovel, and we said no, thank you. We you know, we don't want to eat, you know. And I always remember that. I should have
No,
said yes at that time.
I have forgotten this part. I have forgotten this part.
Yeah, you remember we did a ride to Malia Miana, the last leg, and then
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that
Through
was
the salt pans,
through the salt pans,
and we were on the tender of the loco.
We were on the tender. We were in the front. We were at the rear. We recorded sounds. We sat in a rickshaw whose axle collapsed, and we had to walk. You know, we had a great time. I mean, and we went to a place like Gandhi Dham in the morning, and our train was in the evening. And we said, what are we going to do in a boring town like this? And then Viraf went up the footbridge, and my God, the views of the harbor, they're just too good. So there was no, we saw Bitage's traffic also. You remember that there was a train to, where is it? Vamania? No, I forget the name, but there was a train going somewhere else.
Bhuj.
Bhuj, no, not Bhuj, some other place, a very close by place. I mean, it's 30-40 kilometers, and the driver was Marathi, and then he was very happy to speak to somebody in Marathi. And it was great. We need to do this. We need to focus, within India, what we can do. And how much did we spend? 1,200 rupees or 1,400 rupees for the entire trip? And those sort of things. Yeah.
Might be.
Nothing. Second class each way. And, so we had.
And I did the trip again.
Trip
again with my British friend.
Yes, I remember
and
that.
the drivers, the meter gauge locomotive drivers were so nice.
Yes.
And I remember a YG being painted and kept ready because it was to be exported to America. That's what they told me.
To Togo. It went to Togo. I mean, now that with the Vikas book, you can see which loco has gone where. And it went to Togo, and it is just left there. In fact, sorry, not to Vikas. In the convention, we had somebody who was talking about steam in Africa, and they mentioned that gentleman mentioned that there are two YPs or YGs from this place, from Rajkot division, which are in Togo, and they're in storage. I mean,
I think
they are one Henry Foster, an American has bought them.
Yes, that's correct. And in fact, this was the earlier days of IRFCA, and he used to write to us, and he says that, can you guys ensure that those locos are released, and if we need any lubrication, we can offer it. I said, no, we are not in that circuit at all. I mean, we are just, working professionals who are interested in railways. We are not in that, we're not agents for anything, or like we can't enable common business. But he wanted to buy those locos, and I think he's got those locos now.
He has offered them to Indian Railways free.
All right, then I think we should take them. But we'll have to
take them when Rohani was there. We were to take them
from Togo back to India.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
He has offered them free.
Yes.
Is where is.
Yes. Absolutely.
But I think so. Meter gauge steam should be brought back on some of the remaining existing lines. I think so. The what was that? The Mau line. It is there.
The Patalpani-Karakund line.
Right,
we have been proposing it.
And then there is another line in UP, if I'm not mistaken.
UP
line in North Frontier Railway is still there.
Yeah.
No. Everything is broad gauge now.
No, that is broad gauge is a bypass.
No.
New
He's
line
talking about the Lumding-Madarpur line. That is still
Lumding-Madarpur line is there.
Okay.
Right now, I'll be very happy if I can see a YDM4 at work. I'll be very happy if I can get a WDM2 on my train. So yeah. So right now the way the country is going,
On Patalpani, Kalakot, you can see YDM poles.
absolutely, yes, they have to. Yeah, but I hope it remains.
Before this pandemic started, like we had been to this, it's in Rajasthan,
Mawli.
Malvi.
Mawli,
no, no,
Marwar Junction to Mawli, right?
Marwa to Malawi.
Yeah.
Malawi, something like that.
Mm.
So we did that.
Yeah.
So they should get back the steam over there.
Yeah. Hmm.
But if you are willing to do a talk on this Wakaner, Morvi, Gandhidham, it would be very nice because I spent 5 years there in the meter gauge era.
Yes, beautiful place.
And Mr. Singh, you say that you were posted there in 1972.
In fact, that was my first working post, but I was there for only 6 months, not a very long time.
Okay, in
And at that time,
1972,
I didn't have a camera then, so no photographs.
in 1972, I joined Godrej and Boys.
Okay.
Viraf, do you remember at Malyamiana? This was, I think, 2nd of Jan or 3rd of Jan, sometime in very early Jan, and we had a permission from the Western Railway CPRO, and he had made a mistake about the date. Hota hai na, end of like December, we forget to write it's the next year's date, and we had a previous year date. And the station master caught us and he thrashed us. He said that this is from last year. You cannot come here. You cannot shoot here. So we don't have pictures from Malyamiana, but that's all right. I mean, we had a lot of fun. Yeah. Great.
I think, Apu,
Yeah.
we should club our pictures and do a presentation on that.
We also went to Solapur. Do you remember? You and me had gone to.
Oh yes, of course. How can I forget that?
Yeah. We
Solapur.
went, Solapur, and my recollection is that we were on a meter gauge train on one side of the lake, and broad gauge train was on the other side of the lake, just south of Solapur. And these two guys, different systems, different gauges, different divisions of exchange flag with each other across the lake.
No, there was no lake.
Of course, that there's a lake outside